Isolation can be real or perceived.
Mm.
And that means where people are really pushing us away or ignoring us. The other one would be perceived, where you just feel like nobody's on your side. And so
Yeah,
you
or
kind
they
of
don't
shut
understand
down.
me. Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've learned about that is um, I was in a church environment where it was really difficult for me because I had that perception that everyone around me was not caring. Now,
Mm.
in general, most people weren't interested in engaging, but there were several people. And so over time, I came to let them in our lives. But
Mm-hmm.
what I realized but there was one lady who came in and she was a military family. So they were just there for a few years and they moved on. But while she was there, she was teaching Sunday school and she made sure to train the other kids how to work with, how to interact with my daughter with special
Yeah.
needs.
Mm-hmm.
And that really opened up um, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
opportunities in the church for my daughter to have relationship, and even the parents. She must have been
Mm-hmm.
talking behind the scenes saying, help her. But and we honestly, as the parent, we don't really have the energy or the wherewithal to do that. But it really
Right.
helps if you can provide training for the people around you, help
Mm-hmm.
them know how to relate to you. Because think about it, before you had a
Right.
special needs child, if
Mm-hmm.
you came upon someone who was in a wheelchair, using a talking board, couldn't
Mm-hmm.
really talk, what was your reaction? It
Right.
wasn't that you didn't like the person, that you wouldn't talk to the person, that you didn't want to be around the person.
Mm-hmm.
You just simply, it's different and you don't know what to do. And so you
Yeah.
just kind of
Makes
freeze
you
or pull back.
uncomfortable. Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
as a special needs parent, one of the things we can really learn how to do for isolation is to invest in a few, doesn't have to be a lot of people, but a few
Mm-hmm.
people around you to help them learn how to relate. Like in a church is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
At a family gathering, if you have a lot of family around,
Mm-hmm.
try to get one or two of those people to learn how to interact, and then
Yeah.
just natural relationships, they'll start sharing it with other people. So if you do that
Mm-hmm.
investment, um, but let's face it, isolation is really easy because you don't have to worry about people's stares and accusations, and at the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the opportunity to share, to compare your child's development to their peers, which
Yeah.
was a big thing for me. That's always like even now sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but the real problem is that when you when you're isolated, excuse me, it really leads to destructive attitudes. And I could think of four of them just off the top of my head. The Lone
Mm-hmm.
Ranger complex, where you have to do it all.
Yeah.
Depression, which I
Mm-hmm.
was there.
Yeah.
Self pity, in there too. And then
Mm-hmm.
blame shifting, where you want to blame someone else. You want to blame the doctors, or you want to blame this. And I mean, in some cases, there
Mm-hmm.
is something that happened that deserves blame, or a person or a circumstance deserves blame. But other times we want to blame God for all
Mm-hmm.
of this. And so we're going to talk about that more towards the end. But it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard because isolation, you don't have anyone correcting your thinking. You
Yeah,
get
you're kind
caught in
of
it. You
you're the
pull
expert right
down.
there
Yeah.
in that swirling tornado. uh, yes, that's so true.
Yeah. So some of the ways, there are ways to get out of it. Not easy and not fast. But one of
Mm-hmm.
them is what I talked about, like training the people around you,
Yeah.
because interacting with others is painful, and you have to deal with your shattered dreams, and that's
Mm-hmm.
painful. And then these are losses that need to be grieved, and
Yeah.
grieving is a private thing, and so that's
Mm.
automatically isolating, and no one can
Right.
truly understand our grief.
Mm.
um, so again, that by its very nature, that's just an isolation um, opportunity right there.
Mm.
So one
Mm-hmm.
thing we can learn how to do besides training others around us is learn how to grieve with grace. And what I mean by that
Mm.
is allowing others into our lives, even though they can't help us with those painful things that we're grieving, because they can't understand them, they won't ever
Mm-hmm.
understand them. But if we can kind of isolate that part of our pain and let them
Mm-hmm.
help with all the other things that they can relate to and understanding, because
Right.
they have households that get messy, they have kids
Exactly.
that disobey, they have
Mm-hmm.
bills that need to be paid, there are all kinds of things that people are cooking, all these other things, going to doctor's appointments, even though they don't go as many as we
right,
do.
exactly. Yeah.
But they can, but there are other areas where you can let people in even while you're grieving.